Imagine this. What if one day your city was suddenly overrun by millions of bugs? Not just any bugs, but bugs that stick together while making love, flying around in pairs. Picture opening your door in the morning to clouds of black insects swarming toward you, driving your car only to have your windshield completely covered with bugs so you can't see ahead, and even having them invade your home and cling to your ceiling. This is exactly what's happening in Korea right now. But here's what's truly shocking. The same bug has been appearing in the United States for over 80 years, yet the two countries' reactions are completely different. Korea is treating this like a national disaster, with the Ministry of Environment's Director of Nature Conservation leading emergency response meetings and deploying a 47-person task force operating 24-hour emergency protocols. Meanwhile, in Florida, when faced with the same situation, the state government tells citizens simply this: just learn to live with them. It's a complete contrast. What on earth is going on? In June 2025, a video filmed at Gyeyang Mountain in Gyeyang District, Incheon, shocked the world. The hiking trail was literally covered with bugs like a black carpet, with insects piled up to 4 inches or 10 centimeters high. Hikers had to step on hundreds of bugs with every step, and witnesses said it was hard to even breathe. One hiker described it as like black snow had fallen. This video went viral with over 9.2 million views, and international media began reporting on it en masse. CNN ran the story with the headline, "Korea is swarmed by love bugs nobody wants," while the BBC called it Korea's bug invasion. Even the Washington Post featured this tiny bug story on their front page. Gyeyang District is actually one of the areas in Korea where love bug outbreaks are most severe. Residents here deal with this situation daily. I myself live very close to Gyeyang District. Due to work, I drive frequently, and while driving around, love bugs keep sticking to my windshield. On rainy days, every time the wipers move, bug carcasses leave traces on the glass. Some residents have even gotten to the point where they wear masks and hats before going outside their homes, and they can't hang laundry outside. What's really interesting is the controversy surrounding these bugs. Their name is love bugs, with the scientific name Pleschia longicorpus. The Seoul city government classifies them as beneficial insects. This is because their larvae decompose rotting leaves, adults only eat flower nectar and dew, they don't bite humans, and they don't carry diseases. But reality is different. These are invasive species from China that are taking over Korea's ecosystem. They have acidic compounds in their bodies that even their natural predators won't eat, resulting in an explosive population growth that makes them ecosystem disruptors. What's even more surprising is their way of loving. When males and females meet, they stick together and fly around for up to 3 days. They eat together, sleep together, and even stay together until death. You could call them insects with a Romeo and Juliet-like pure love story. But the problem is that millions of these romantic couples swarm together, and with no natural predators, their population just keeps growing. While the government calls them beneficial insects, they've actually become invasive species that don't belong in Korea's ecosystem. So why has this invasive species, which the government claims is harmless but is actually problematic, become such a major social issue? This is where Korea's unique circumstances come into play. The first reason is Korea's special urban environment. 62.3% of Koreans live in apartments, which is the highest rate in the world. Areas like Gyeyang District and Incheon have large apartment complexes densely packed near mountains, creating a structure where love bugs breed in the mountains and then come straight down to residential areas. Unlike America, where people in individual houses handle problems on their own, thousands of people living together in apartment complexes experience problems collectively. When bugs swarm one complex, hundreds of households simultaneously file complaints with the management office. It becomes a community problem, not an individual one. Moreover, Korea's apartment management system is set up so residents can demand that management offices solve all problems. From elevator breakdowns to parking issues to noise complaints, the management office must handle everything. And now, bug problems have been added to this list. Management office staff are bewildered, asking, how are we supposed to manage bugs? While protesters raise their voices and say, we pay management fees, so why won't you manage this too? The second factor is Korea's social media culture. 85% of Koreans use social media, which is much higher than America's 70%. Every apartment complex has online communities where bug videos are shared in real time, creating collective hysteria phenomena. Posts like, "Our apartment has this many bugs too, so what is the management office doing?" "The neighboring complex did pest control, when will we get ours?" and "Children are crying on their way to school because of the bugs," keep getting posted, amplifying residents' anxiety. Individual inconveniences become national issues through viral phenomena. In fact, one apartment complex's online community even formed a love bug response committee and decided to file collective complaints. This kind of organized response would be unimaginable in America's individualistic culture. But Korea's government response is truly remarkable. The Ministry of Environment deployed 47 dedicated personnel and established a 24-hour emergency response system. The Ministry of Environment's Director of Nature Conservation even stepped forward announcing emergency measures, saying this year's situation is particularly severe. Seoul City and Incheon City developed and deployed specialized collection devices and attractant equipment, and even mobilized fire department equipment to spray water. They're concentrating response teams, especially in major outbreak areas like Gyeyang Mountain. Dozens of workers in protective suits climb the mountains daily, using blowers to disperse bugs, installing sticky traps, and spraying water while collecting bug carcasses. They're even using drones to monitor bug outbreak conditions in real time. The government is creating a new legal classification system to categorize love bugs as lifestyle nuisance insects, a new category, and is trying to designate them as managed species. They're even revising related laws for this purpose. The National Assembly has allocated special budget for love bug countermeasures. At this level, it's practically a declaration of war against bugs. Meanwhile, America's situation is completely different. Love bugs have been appearing in Florida since the 1940s. They have a much longer history there. In fact, in the 1970s, the situation was as serious as Korea's now. Drivers had to stop every 10 miles to clean their windshields, and the government even sprayed pesticides from helicopters. But over 30 years, natural predators appeared, and now it's at a much more manageable level. So now, the University of Florida Extension Service tells citizens this: just learn to live with them. They advise not to use chemical pesticides and just adjust outdoor activity times. Interestingly, Korea is ultimately in a similar situation. Even though the government deploys massive response teams and operates 24-hour emergency systems, the actual response methods aren't much different from America's. Water spraying, sticky trap installation, and blowing them away with blowers is all they do. Korea also avoids using chemical pesticides for environmental protection reasons. In the end, both countries have no fundamental solutions and can only endure. What's really interesting is that, from a scientific perspective, love bugs are indicator species for climate change and ecosystem disruption. Seoul's temperature has risen 1.4 degrees over the past 30 years, and the urban heat island effect has created an environment where concrete buildings absorb heat during the day and release it at night, allowing these invasive species to survive winter. The more serious problem is that Korea's native animals won't eat them because of their acidic bodies. With no natural predators, the vicious cycle of explosive population growth continues. Korea's love bugs have 99.42% genetic uniformity, which is very high. This means a small number of individuals successfully invaded and established themselves. And with climate change, such invasive species establishment cases are expected to increase worldwide. American cities are no exception. Ultimately, Korea's love bug crisis isn't just a bug problem, but a case study showing how cities must respond to new ecological invasions in a rapidly changing climate. It shows the gap between the government's beneficial insect classification and citizens' real-world damage, differences in fundamental approaches to invasive species management, and all the unexpected consequences that climate change brings. Fortunately, love bugs have one fatal weakness: their very short lifespan. After becoming adults, males live 3 to 4 days,
and females rarely survive more than a week. So no matter how much they torment people with their enormous numbers, their population naturally drops sharply after about a week. Complete eradication is difficult, but they essentially regulate their own population. It's a blessing in disguise, you could say.